And preparing my speech, I got nervous because I wanted this to be special. So I did something that you might think is funny, but I went online on the forums, the guitar forums, and I asked your fans to be part of it. So I asked them to describe in 2 words what the words Jeff Beck means to them. And this is what it did. I had to put it, huh?
Steady on.
And the last one is my personal favorite. So this is your friend speaking to you. The trophy I'm going to give to you.
That's it, that's enough.
The trophy I'm going to give to you was designed. I asked Japanese luthier and sculptural artist Michihiro Matsuda to create something for you specially. So this is a one-of-a-kind thing. He went in his woodshed to find a very old piece of maple that he does guitar with, and he created this, which evokes current and ebbs and flows, much like the music that you create. And please accept this award, Jeff.
Thank you.
Anybody has a question for this trem master?
Nice help. Did you take note of that after?
My name?
Can you show the price?
That's so you know who you're messing with.
We want you to show the price. Just show it.
On a une question ici.
We have a question?
Yeah. Last Saturday, you did play Io Silver Lining
Oh,
with
my-
David Gilmour. I
It
was
was out.
wondering if we would be so lucky to hear you sing tonight.
Dave, somebody suggested that we should do that because it's one of those songs that's a curse, but at the same time, so many people like it. And Dave loved the idea, but he forgot the second verse. And so I couldn't bear to see him fumble for the words, so I stepped in and sang it.
Who was the lady you sang with?
That was Imelda May. She opened the show for us, and she's fantastic. That's it, huh?
What sort of show can we expect tonight, Jeff?
Well, Harvey's got us working so hard now that we don't have time to change the set, so it's going to be pretty much the same Ronnie Scott stuff. But this might be very...
On a une question en arrière.
Hi Jeff,
Hi.
I'm Paul with SubjectJazzNights.com for Beck Jazz Magazine. And for somebody like myself who has been out of the music of rock and roll for many years, more into jazz, how would you describe what you're going to do tonight? Is it, I mean, I know that since the 77 you've been, more jazz rock.
It's a bit like...
It's a tricky question, I know.
Yeah, no, it's
Music
okay.
is music, right?
It's hard to put the finger exactly where my present style comes from. It's just the years of listening to people that I really was drawn to, from rockabilly to the 60s, Hendrix and even Ravi Shankar, who twisted everything around for me with the bend and I applied a lot of these, not, you know, direct lifts, but the actual technique of bending the G string and you know, forming melody by bending the string rather than just playing somewhere. So a lot goes to Rabbi Shokov for that. It's also Eastern influence, you know, Arabic music. I don't care about politics or anything like that. As long as the song sounds good, I'll play it and try to, you know, embroider what's there and embellish it and try to make it my own. That's really what it is.
Do you have plans for a new album yet? And if so, is David Horn going to be involved?
Pardon?
Is David Horn going to be involved in that?
No, he won't be. There were some issues with David, which unfortunately prevented, but we start in earnest in about the second week in August. So no more fun for me, really, for a month.
Any idea what, is it going to be a departure from your
It wouldn't be fair for me to describe it at the moment, because it's still very much in the, we're dreaming up ideas of how to modify existing songs. Hopefully we'll be able to put some original stuff in, you know, as far as the up stuff, you know, the danceable stuff with groove. There is a dilemma about whether to make a double album of the tear-jerky stuff one side and the rock and roll on the other, but all will be revealed, I think, by the end of maybe August.
Some guests, or is it, can you say?
Is it asking all the awkward questions?
Just been working with them for a
We
couple
want
of years.
variety, well, I'd love to use my band, but unfortunately the budget, you know, to fly them over and back,
Yeah.
plus the variety of sounds, you know, we're going to go for an eclectic sound, which will involve other players. But, will be hopefully playable by the band that I have, because they're great.
Do you see, okay, how about rephrase this then? You do an album, do you foresee yourself working with the same group for a long time? I mean, for
Yeah.
the future with
You build up a camaraderie.
Yeah.
I think anybody will tell you that the band is better than pickup players.
Well, it's one of the best bands I've heard.
You become a soap opera, and you become a family really, and you share travel briefs and misery and all the rest of it, internet, all the rest of it. So it's great to have that. You know, actually we've been together for almost 18 months now.
Yeah.
Be ashamed to spoil that.
Well, it's a wonderful group, so.
Okay.
Jeff, you're going on July to Europe in your world tour. I don't know if you have ever thought of going to Mexico and South America, the rest of South America.
I think we played once in Mexico City, which also covered Rio. That was it. There were two fairly small gigs. For some reason we didn't go back. I suppose it's a logistic thing again. You know, if you've got a tour that's tightly centered around a certain spot in America or whatever, to go off down there for two gigs wipes out a lot of, you know, we're not big league, we weren't big league money players back then, so, you know, in order to make things work we had to go with where the money was sensible. I'd love to go back, maybe with a good album that's reasonably successful, one could do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your philosophy in playing music?
My philosophy, well,
What do you think?
I don't know why I wanted to do it. What makes anybody want to, you know, threaten their life by racing on a motorcycle? I don't know. I'm kind of, I'll go single-handedly in a boat. I can't think of anything more miserable myself, but something drives us to do this. And it was the lack of, I suppose, satisfaction of listening and just absorbing what was played on a record, wanting to get on board and find out, you know, and then interpret what I heard. That's really what it is. It becomes fun to play, and then when other people start to enjoy what you're doing, it becomes very enjoyable, I can tell you.
Rick King, Jazz Variations Radio in the U.S. You're one of the earliest guitar players that I've seen utilize tapping technique. Was there an individual, a guitar player that inspired you to do that, or was that just something you discovered fooling around?
Right. You're talking about the ball and the thing, yeah.
Right.
I've got a book at home called this Touch System by Ben Webster, and it goes back to about 1946.
Oh, wow.
So nothing's new. He actually used a lot more subtleties in his application of the way he actually varied the angle of his fingers to bring out the harmonics and play variable chords, multi-chords, as well as just single note flurries of bravado. You know, that he was actually playing chords like a piano player by pressing directly down with the ball of the finger.
Right.
Fantastic. Never heard it, but it sounded good in print.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeff, I'd like to get your thoughts maybe with the benefit of hindsight on Blow by Blow and Wired, which were landmark albums in the sort of jazz rock fusion. How do those albums seem to you after 30 whatever years?
How do they sing?
Yeah, how do they sound to you, and what's your thoughts on their legacy?
It's funny how you look back, it's like an old photo album where you think, oh, sorry about the hair, you know. Or the trousers, or the bit. But the Jan stuff still stands up head and shoulders, I think, you know, because of Jan Hammer and his European, just his ears, you know, so incredible, and his technique. And I lost George Martin along the way in the quest to try to find a more aggressive spin on the type of music I was influenced by, which was Mahavishnu Orchestra, John McLaughlin, all those great players. That what I wanted to do was join up with Jan and try to make a slightly more accessible version of that, really. When I say accessible, I mean that I was incapable of doing what John did. So it was a watered down version, but I did have fun doing that. And it gave me a year of great fun with Jan and his band.
Jeff, are you excited that you're going to be in the upcoming version of Guitar Hero 5?
Let's just see how excited I am when the check comes in. No, I think it's great. You know. And what amazes me is that the electric guitar is still so popular. It didn't fall down the black hole of nothing. Could have easily done that.
Thanks to you.
Question, being a music legend, what kind of impact does that have on you personally when you have to come and do a live performance?
I don't think about that. I mean, seeing that nonsense up there, I wondered who they were talking about for a minute. But it's very nice at this stage of my life to be, listened to. I don't really know how to add to that. It just puts a hell of a lot of pressure. The Albert Hall of all places. I mean, we could play a dozen gigs around London and not have the same worry about how it's going to go. But that place, but I think what you're saying is that the worry of the prestigious gig still hurts. Like until it's over with. It's still ever present. Will we do it? Will we won't do it? I could do without it.
When you're playing, there's always that feeling of spur of the moment and spontaneous playing. I was wondering how much of that is something that you just do because you think of it.
It's a form of musical Tourette, I think. It's involuntary spasm. I think it probably is a form of insanity, to be quite honest. I think, I'm not going to hold the insanity thing. I think most people who play are quite nuts anyway. You become obsessed about sound and positioning, notation and chords, and we just get drawn into it. But I try not to be boring, and that's all it is really. I make terrible mistakes, but when there's a result, there's a result. If it's a great mistake, I put it in there and then expand it.
I was actually
We're gonna go with the
Maybe August or September.